Well, the CFTC voting today to put position limits for energy traders as the price of oil and other commodities surge higher. Peter Cook is at the CFTC with the agency's chairman. Peter.
Thanks very much, Carol. I am joined by CFTC Chairman Gary Gensler right here in the CFTC meeting room. Mr. Chairman, thank you for the time. A big vote today, long-anticipated vote. Tell me what you think this rulemaking, again, simply a proposal out there, how could it affect energy markets going forward? How do you hope it might affect energy markets if adopted?
Well, it's a proposed rule, and we look forward to the public's comments over the next several months on this. Our mandate from Congress is to set position limits to help ensure the functioning of the markets, that they're fair and orderly. So if it were to be a final rule, my hope is that the energy markets would be avoid excessive concentration, where one party could distort the marketplace. That's really at the core of what we've done in the past decades and what we're considering in this rule.
As we understand, as the staff explained it today, if position limits were put in place right now, you'd have essentially 10 traders, if you will, affected by this. They might even be eligible for exemptions. There may be some people say, why do you even need this if it only affects so few people?
Well, a rulemaking process will get a lot of comments from the public, but what it's trying to do is prospectively say, let's make sure that no one party has such an excessive concentration on the markets. That's really what it's about. We're not a price-setting agency. I don't want people to read into this that, oh, the price of oil will go up or down. It's really just the proper functioning of markets, that no one party is so undue concentration on the market.
Are you convinced right now that over the past few years, as we saw prices for oil, for example, hit $147, that there were players who did have too much control of the market?
Well, we know that in the middle of 2006, Amaranth, which was a hedge fund, and it's been publicly disclosed, got very large in the natural gas markets. This limit would have affected them, and we do know that they, in fact, in those circumstances were found to be manipulating the markets. So there are circumstances that players can get so large they can distort a marketplace.
All right, let me ask you about the exemptions here, because that may be as important as part of this rule as anything. You've got bona fide exemptions for commercial users. Airlines, for example, looking to hedge their risk over fuel costs.
They would be exempt, as they have been for decades.
What about financial institutions, those swaps dealers, a lot of Wall Street firms? You came from Wall Street. You know the interest here in this. How tough is it going to be for them to get exemptions? Should they deserve exemptions?
Well, in the past, predecessors in my job decided on a case-by-case basis to start granting exemptions to the Wall Street swap dealers. What we're trying to do today in this proposal to bring consistency to it, to put together a written rule, the public hopefully will comment, about this. It brings transparency and some compliance standards. And for the first time, if we were to adopt this rule, we would actually publicly disclose who has the exemptions. Right now, we're not even doing that.
Is it safe to say that if this rule were adopted in its current form, that swaps dealers would have to reduce their positions, that these Wall Street firms would not have as much of a role in this market? Perhaps not make as much money?
Well, Peter, not necessarily, because though a number of swap dealers, as was shared by the staff, are over these limits today, they may not be over. They would be allowed to have an exemption and be able to go to twice the size of the speculators, but they'd have to show that they have counterparties hedging, somebody on the other side of those transactions. So there'd be more disclosure, more uniformity. We think that's a good thing. We look forward to the public's comments on the rule.
One final question, if I could. The vote today was 4-1 to put this out for proposal.
That's
but
correct.
You heard from several of your commissioners some reservations about this, including reservations that they may not be prepared to support this when it comes to a final rule. You can have the votes for this?
We're going to look forward to seeing the public comments. It's all a process. I'm pleased to get the rule out for public comment.
All right, we're pleased to have you here on Bloomberg. Thank you very much for the time. Chairman Gary Gensler of the CFTC.